that Titan greatness is back. After a few weeks of decent episodes, we get back to a great episode with Attack on Titan episode 13. Before I jump into the review, just want to remind you people, next week it'll be a recap episode, so you won't get a review from me. If the new opening premieres next week, then maybe I'll talk about the opening instead, but pretty much next week is going to be a recap, so no review, just letting you know. Now, this episode though, between all the action, between the finally advancing out of this particular part, humanity getting its first victory, definitely this was a great episode. Great episode. Now, the thing that I've been complaining slightly about was that I felt as though Mikasa was just constantly the only one slaughtering the Titans. And then this episode finally threw something else in there. Rivale going in like a boss, and he's like, hey, you young brats, what's going on? I was just like, Rivale for the win. Respect. Like, right now, him and Pixies is like the two dudes that are like, yo, you gotta show them respect. This episode, at the end, where Eren is in prison and stuff, and he just keeps on, like, with that vengeful face, he truly reminds me. I don't care what anyone says. He truly reminds me, and it's the shonen aspect. Like, he is the big shonen aspect of the series, because he really reminds me of Sasuke, without all the complications and all the confusion and everything. He really is, like, just straight up revenge, 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 revenge. And you totally see that in episodes like this, and that's where the series gets its shonen aspects, because if some of you don't know, this is a shonen series. This is not a seinen. This is more, you know, shonen or whatever. But that's where the shonen aspects come from, the actual characters themselves, because the story is very dark. The aspects outside of it, where the, you know, Titans are eating people, which you get a lot of that. That's the, like, darker side, but it's the characters that make it shonen. And in this episode, again, it just is displayed that he is very much like Sasuke. It's just all about revenge for him and wanting to kill the Titans. And I really like that, because he shows that that is his main motive and passion. Maybe we'd like to see a little bit more, you know, a little bit more sides, and I feel as though that just would come with time and development of his character. I would love to see, you know, what is his idea on the whole Mikasa caring about him? What does he think about other things besides revenge? But just seeing a full example of how much he is passionate about his goal, it's just inspiring overall. At the same time, you look at humanity, it's like, yo, fuck humanity in a way for what they're doing. It's like, dude just saved everyone, just helped humanity receive its first victory against the Titans, and he wakes up to being in chains in an underground jail cell. That's fucked up. Like, yo, why would you do that, man? So I was just a little annoyed by that. Not, you know, that's just story-wise as far as, like, you know, my entertainment value of it. It's just like, come on. But overall, just fucking incredible episode. You know, between Mikasa slicing shit up, Rivale, the whole thing with Jean, however you want to pronounce it, that shit really caught my eye, because it shows also that he needs to be developed as a character as well. When he saw Marco's death, which, R.I.P. Marco, and the art on this episode, let me just quickly clear this. Animation, fucking perfect. Perfect animation. No slip-ups in this episode. Clear, cut, beautiful. Some of the scenes, especially always when they're using the 3D gear, they always go all out with that. But the detail in Marco's death scene, where you see Marco just there, freaking fantastic. Better than the freaking manga by far, the art style. Not the animation, the actual art. It was really freaking detailed. And going back to Jean, it really just shows that, like, he needs to get more accustomed to this is what it is. And at the same time, he blames himself. You could clearly see he's blaming himself for what happened. And it's understandable that he will blame himself, because, you know, Marco did jump in because he was trying to help out John. And it really just gives you this cold feeling. Episodes like this give you this cold feeling that not everyone is going to be a hero. And that's what also gives it a less of a shonen, like, you know, aspect to it. It's like, and every shonen is like, you know, if somebody dies, they're going to get their moment in the spotlight. Marco died and nobody even knew how he died. Just, you know, a Titan got him. They don't know where. Nobody's seen it. And it just gives you that harsh reality. And that's what Attack on Titan ultimately always delivers anyways, is harsh reality. People aren't always the brave warriors. People aren't always getting that spotlight before they die. And Marco's death was a perfect example of Attack on Titan and what it stands for as far as the content that it delivers and the feeling that it delivers of this hopeless situation. But this episode also delivered that humanity ain't completely down and out. And they finally got their victory. Yes, they had to resort to getting, well, not resort to, it kind of fell in their lap, but they had to get a Titan to help them with Eren, but nonetheless, they got their first victory, which is freaking awesome. And if it wasn't for people like Pixies and Rivale, they wouldn't have got that victory, because they helped out immensely. Overall episode, 4.5 out of 5. Couple small things about the episode that weren't like, pluses to it was carrying the rock scene did seem like it took a little bit long. Not too long. So that was one of the little nitpicks about the episode. Again, these are very small nitpicks, very small ones. Also, it just overall, the grand scheme of things, it really just was him plugging a rock. So, small nitpicks, honestly. But overall, amazing episode, great episode. 4.5 out of 5, still an amazing rating. And it really just showed, one, it was a stamp of, once again, Eren is an Avenger, and he just wants revenge, and he don't give a fuck what it is. He's in a jail cell after waking up from a coma, and he's like, revenge, revenge, revenge. Which we need development, but that also shows his commitment. And another thing, it delivered Mikasa and Rivale kicking ass, because even throughout the episode, I was like, is it really just gonna be Mikasa again only? I love Mikasa. She's a fucking boss. But I want other people. And then Rivale makes him look like, yo, let me show you how it's done. So you also get extra characters kicking ass finally. And just overall, humanity getting its first victory. That's freaking awesome. Definitely great episode. Let me know what you thought of it. First of all, what did you think as far as how humanity won? Do you think that this was a solid victory for humanity? Or do you feel as though they kind of like, in a way, had a cheat because they got the whole thing with Eren being a Titan partially or whatever? And also, what do you think about Jean and Marco's death? Do you feel as though it's Jean's fault that Marco died? At the end of the day, it's a battlefield. There was a couple dudes that threw themselves to save other people and died. It is what it is. People know what they're signing up for. Jean should really move on from this, learn from this, and keep it moving and become stronger, because Marco died so that he can survive and be a great leader, because Marco believed in him. And that's freaking awesome. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up for this awesome episode of Attack on Titan, because we haven't had great ones in the past couple weeks, but this was a great episode. Great one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.